What's going on, everyone? It's Adam and Craig with Grandstand Golf. This is our PGA DFS pick show for the 2021 Zurich Classic. Before we go to New Orleans, Craig, let's take a look back at the RBC Heritage. Pretty good overall with our picks. This is just our picks recap, not our picks and sleepers, just our picks. 5 and 6 made it through. Patrick Cantlay did not make it through. But we've got 3 top 10s. I mean, that's what we're looking for. We didn't have the winner, but we've got Webb there. We've got Russell Henley. We've got Matt Fitzpatrick in the top 5. Pretty good overall.
Yeah, it's becoming a bit of a trend, us picking Patrick Cantlay and him not getting through. So, I mean, I don't know. I think you buyer beware.
Are you foreshadowing for this show? I don't know. There are handles. Subscribe to our channel, like the video, and make sure to follow us on Twitter. That's where we have all our stuff pushed out, so make sure to follow us there. We're at the 2021 Zurich Classic. If you haven't seen our tournament preview, go check that out. We talk about, how the rounds are different, best ball, alternate shot, the teams that are in there, some of our preview teams, but DFS is different. First off, we didn't have this event in 2020. I don't think we've really had this kind of DFS play for the Zurich Classic, so it's going to be kind of brand new for everyone a little bit. But the one rule going in is do not draft golfers on the same team. So you can do that right now on DraftKings. They're right next to each other. Do not do that.
And by you can do that, it means it will let you do that. And but you're not going to get points for both of them. So
I don't think you're going to get points. There's going to be broken lineups. I think for sure. Kind of reminded me of like the Dell match play. There's going to be broken lineups in there just because people play people in the same pool. I think you just have to embrace a little bit more randomness this week with it being a kind of a team event at the Zurich. And the other thing I noticed, Craig, is the salary seems super, super steep. I mean, it is hard to get 6 teams you kind of like in there.
Yeah, you definitely are going to have to go low. So, on that note, check out our sleeper show where we do get into some of the more economical options. But yeah, you definitely are not able to put that many good golfers together in a lineup.
It's been the first week in a while where I try to plug in my first lineup and it's like, where do I go? Where am I scraping in the 6Ks here? So yeah. It's definitely interesting.
Yeah, for sure. So this one, I think we're going 8,000 and above.
8,000 and above.
And we're just doing 2 each because, there's 2 guys in each team that we got to talk through. So in the interest of keeping this under an hour, we figured, maybe we'll just do 2 and 2.
2 and 2. 2 and 2 we're calling it. So my first team that I like this week is Louis Oosthuizen and Charl Schwartzel, the South Africans. They're on DraftKings at 9,400, which ranks 14th in the field. They're the 14th ranked team.
Yeah.
Incoming form. So Louis coming in pretty hot. 6 straight made cuts. 2 of those are top 11s. Over the course of the entire PGA Tour season with the entire PGA, he ranks 2nd in strokes and putting at +1. Charles coming in with 3 straight made cuts. I mean, we saw some flashes, I would say, in kind of the fall season. He does have a kind of a string of made cuts. I feel like we're getting a little bit disrespectful with Charl here. I feel like he's bringing Louis Oosthuizen's price down. They're not really meeting the middle, and I feel like it's just too cheap. I mean, they're below Brandon Grace and HV3. They're below Justin Rose and Henrik Stenson, who I don't think we've seen really much form from.
Yeah.
So I like these South Africans right here. So they have played together. 2018 was 3rd. 2019 was a missed cut. And then 2017, Louis Oosthuizen did play with Brandon Grace. So they have some history here. Did have a miscut, did have a really high finish in 2018. I like them this week.
Yeah, and I think, there's a few of these teams that kind of have one clear stronger player, in this case, Louis Oosthuizen. And I think so if you think about the alternate shot, because that's where you can't really run and hide as the weaker player. But I think Schwartzel, he's not the kind of person that you feel like is really going to let them down at any point, which to me,
exactly, yeah.
You kind of want that steadier, as you're weaker of the 2 players, having someone steady like a Charl Schwartzel, I think is a good play, as opposed to, maybe if you look at Hovland and Ventura, right. You don't necessarily know you're just get a safe shot out of him on the alternate shot.
A little bit streakier.
Yeah.
2 veterans. Great major winners. I just like them. I think.
Yeah, and I think there'll be a huge comfort level there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Speaking of comfort level, actually, that brings me to my first one here. I'm going with Talor, Gooch, Max Homa. They come in 9,900. They are 10th on DraftKings. To me, this just seems like a great value. They're sort of above them. They are, teams. I mean, obviously, the frickin' Xander Cantlay team is outrageous, but
yeah.
It seems like there's some teams above them that in pricing that I don't think should be. This is one of the ones where there's 2 strong players. You look at strokes gained total over the last 6 months, they're 13th and 17th in this field over the last 6 months. So 10th, that's the 10th ranked team. So we're talking 20 players, 18 players above them if you're looking at 9 teams. So I just see value with that.
There's maybe what, 2 or 3 teams that have both players in the top 20.
Exactly.
Like, there's not many.
So I think the steadiness of this team is one of the things that appeals to me. But then also on the best ball days, they're really going to be able to go out there and kind of push each other. Push each other and make a lot of birdies, I think. So just real quick, what they've done over the last recent, in Gooch's case, 8 tournaments. He's got a single missed cut, 3 top 25s, and a 5th at the Player. So we do see him, getting up there to high finishes. Maybe not as much once they get into Homa here. Homa has a lot of very high-end play, but Gooch, we have seen him get those high finishes and be a steady cut maker. Looking at Homa's the last 11. We've got 2 missed cuts, 8 top 25s in the last 11. That is very appealing to me. And then the first at Genesis, obviously. So I just think there's an upside potential here. I think, you look at combined over the last 19 tournaments they both played in, 3 missed cuts. I think there's a very, very safe floor to them. I just really like it. And then if you do follow either, Homa on, you follow the Get a Grip podcast, or you follow either of these guys on social media, they're buddies. They're good buddies. So I think compared to, I mean, a lot of these teams, I do think they have good rapport and good relationships, but I think that is one of the things about these guys. They're not going to get too down on each other. They're going to, it's going to be a stronger team than some of these teams where it's just sort of a team of convenience,
Yeah, it's hard to really put a value on that, but I think we do see it. We notice it when we see it, that kind of comfort with your teammate, and they can kind of.
Well, we see it a lot in Ryder Cups and President's Cups, where some teams seem to play better than they should because they're just very comfortable playing together.
Yeah, I think it's one of those two where, we're used to paying up for Hovland, so we'll take him with Ventura. But Gooch and Homa have been kind of like high 7s, 8s. When Homa won, he got a little bit higher in DraftKings, so people might be a little bit more hesitant to play them because they kind of got packaged together as these top 20 players, and then their price goes up. But I mean, all the things you said, I think you're right. I think they're 2 of the steadiest players we have on a team, really.
Yeah.
Okay, my second and last. That's it. We're only going 2 each this time. Byeong Hun and Sungjae Im, 9,100 on DraftKings. They're 17th there. So incoming form's a little bit. This is an interesting team to me.
I think it's very interesting too.
It's a high upside team. We'll see. But okay, Byeong Hun not coming in with any good form at all. 4 miscuts. I don't know why I have 2 top 11s. That's a mistake. He has 4 straight miscuts. It's not good. Sungjae Im, on the other hand, 4 top 25s in his last 6 events. Sungjae Im's pretty good. But when you look at the stroke,
Sungjae could have been a lot better if he, his Sunday this past week was not very good. He could have had a top 5, top 10,
Yeah, very true. Strokes gained tee to green over the past 2 years, looking at Byeong Hun and Sungjae Im. Byeong Hun is 17th. He does drop about 30th when he goes strokes gained total, so that's why I went tee to green. Sungjae Im is 21st. So if you just look at their ball striking purely over the past 2 years, it is excellent. Kind of like you're saying about Gooch and Homa, I'm taking a huge sample size, knowing that Byeong Hun, I'm rostering this team knowing Byeong Hun is kind of in that slump, and that's okay. I'm playing him in a slump because I feel like the price has come down too far for this kind of high upside team. So what have they done at TPC Louisiana? Byeong Hun has been miscut, but he had a solo second back in 2016. This is before it's a team event, just out here, regular stroke play. He had a solo second. So clearly there's something about the course that fits well. He can play this course well. But when he has played in team events with no or nah, he has missed the cut. And then Sungjae Im, young player, obviously we know kind of the stud Sungjae Im is. Yeah. He's only played here once. He was 37th with Wee Kim. I feel like we got these 2 together for the first time. They can make some magic happen. Excellent ball striking. If Byeong Hun kind of gets a little bit out of his kind of recent slump, this team could be fireworks.
Yeah, so to me, I think this is a very high upside team. I agree with you on that. I would say if you compare it to the Oosthuizen Charl team, I like this team potentially better in the best ball side, but then on the alternating shot, I feel like there's you're a little bit safer almost with the South Africans. But yeah, so to me, I would say this is much higher risk, higher reward. Which in big GPPs, maybe that's what you need to do.
Yeah, take that shot.
Yeah. Okay, my last one here. I'm going in a bit of a different direction. I'm going Scott Brown, Kevin Kisner. They're 8,700. This is the 21st ranked team in terms of pricing. So to me, this is basically just a pure history play. I'm not looking at their form coming in as much as I'm just looking. They played this as a team together,
Totally.
3 consecutive years at the Zurich Classic, and they have been second, tied for 15th, and tied for 5th. So, we're looking at them 21st in pricing. It's hard to justify that just based on the team if you don't include that history. Because over the last 6 months, Scott Brown is 105th in strokes gained total. He's losing over a half stroke to the field. And Kevin Kisner is good, but not compared to some of these other teams where there's a really good player that's clearly dragging up a weaker player. Kisner is gaining 3/4 of a stroke which is 26th in the field. But to me, it's one of these things. It's kind of like comparing, the match play versus regular stroke events. I don't necessarily care so much what a guy's doing on their regular 72-hole stroke play events if they have a demonstrated history of doing well in this format. So I do
Ian Poulter as example A.
Absolutely. Like there's just people who seem to do better in different kinds of things. And for whatever reason, Brown and Kisner have a successful record at this. Now, the question is that risk reward worth it? I think that their ownership will be, higher than it should be because of their, higher than it should be if you look at their form because of the course history. So are you willing to take the risk on a very small sample size of these 3 events that they have?
Sure.
Or do you think that maybe they're just not playing as well right now, especially I think Scott Brown, and so I'm not going to take the risk? I'm going to have exposure to them because I think there's very high upside, but I think it's one that, maybe take with a little bit of caution.
Yeah, I mean, I like it. Cameron Smith is one here, but with a different partner than Leishman. Ryan Palmer has played with Spieth and Rahm, but these two are really, I think, over the 3 years, the most solid team. I mean, that we're going to see again for the 4th year. I don't even know if there's any teams that have hung on.
I don't know if there's any that have as much success as them.
But top 15s, 2 top 5s, crazy good history. Kevin Kisner is, like you said, he like Ian Poulter, throw him into that discussion as well. Like he just shows up for these things and he can get it done. Like he's just a gamer through and through. Interesting play.
I also think Kisner's one of these guys that I think he's a very strategic player. Like he's the type of person you wouldn't want to play in a money game off the cuff, just because of the type of competitor he is. So for whatever reason, him and Brown have a very good thing going in this, and we'll see whether that continues this year.
Yeah, for sure. So looking at our picks and looking ahead, Craig, is it safe to say that you're kind of looking a little bit more balanced this week, or what are you thinking?
Well, it is and it isn't. I mean, the difficult thing is the floor drops out in terms of pricing so quickly, which we'll get into in our sleepers, but you can't put in 2 or 3 of the top lineups because it's just the pricing structure is so difficult this week. So you need to be playing, maybe you can get one play above 10K, but then unless you're really going to go mining down in those 6Ks, there's 160 people in this tournament, and the teams start to get pretty weak pretty quickly. So
and even more so, like 6 of 6 through to the weekend is so important, but especially when you're scoring so many birdies and that kind of like how the scoring is going to work out, you need to get all 6 through to the weekend.
Yeah, and it's 35 in ties. So if you compare that to a normal week where you're getting 65 of the potential DFS plays through, it's going to be tricky.
It's going to be tricky for sure. Okay, so what do we have going on this week? Our tournament preview and first look, that is out now on YouTube. Go check that out. Sleepers show will be coming soon. Live show Wednesday night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern, where we kind of wrap up everything before we tee off on Thursday. And then showdown picks. I don't really know what's going on. I put Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. Maybe. I don't know what's happening for showdown.
Yeah, I'm assuming they'll have some kind of showdown. I have no idea what it's going to be like in terms of pricing structure and format. But yeah. We'll be doing it.
We're here. We're going to do content if there's content to give for you guys.
We'll stumble through it with you.
Yeah, like it says at the below. We're in uncharted waters here with DFS and Zurich Classic. So follow us on Twitter. Join our Discord. Those links are below. That's where we'll have our content, and we can kind of chat when we're not doing our videos. So good luck this week, and we'll see you soon.
Yep. Good luck, guys. See you next time.